Hello. I actually feel I should look into Francis of Assisi's prophecy. Though it is not a Bible prophecy, but sometimes we may not ignore all these prophecies, especially if it aligns with Bible prophecy. In just a few minutes, I want us to look into Francis of Assisi's prophecy. The prophecy of St. Francis about a future pope. One St. Francis about a future pope. This was taken from the works of the Seraphic Father St. Francis of Assisi, Washburn, 1882, page 248 to 250. With the latest rabid statement from Pope Francis, Bishop of Rome, titled per his request, "The castigation of a mother who bore 8 children, whom we presume based on related comments he considers a rabbit, then giving an audience to the so-called transgendered hopeful wishing to marry. Our Pope appears to have become deranged. This is also indicative of hypocrisy. The who am I to judge Pope in reference to objective sin accuses an obedient, heroic woman of subjective sin. Francis exposes his true self along with his actual beliefs about morality, in particular the purpose of marriage. When he was chosen a pontiff, it was considered odd that he would choose the name of St. Francis for a number of reasons. But after pondering it a bit more, perhaps God was warning us early on, although by now, is there anyone who would need such an admonition? The irony abounds when one reads the prophecy by our seraph, the glorious St. Francis. I'm talking about the Catholics, the Catholic seraph. Here I am referring to the abuse of papal power when Francis forbade traditional Franciscan the use of traditional Mass. I do not know if the prophecies below refer to our time, but one can't help considering the possibility, especially in light of the prophecies of St. Malachi and the number of popes. Although we are not obliged to believe his list. But when saints provide us with prophecies, we ought to be so prudent as to dismiss them out of hand necessarily. We must continue to pray for Pope Francis while being faithful in resisting whatever attacks the body and soul of the Church, following the exhortation of the saints. Shortly before he died, St. Francis of Assisi called together his followers and warned them of the coming troubles, saying, 1. The time is fast approaching in which there will be great trials and afflictions. Perplexities and dissensions, both spiritual and temporal, will abound. The charity of many will grow cold, and the malice of the wicked will increase. 2. The devils will have unusual power. The immaculate purity of our order and of others will be so much obscured that there will be very few Christians who will obey the true sovereign pontiff and the Roman Church with royal hearts and perfect charity. At the time of this tribulation, a man not canonically elected will be raised to the pontificate, who by his cunning will endeavor to draw many into error and death. 3. Then scandals will be multiplied, our order will be divided, and many others will be extremely destroyed, because they will consent to error instead of opposing it. There will be such diversity of opinions and schism among the people, the religious and the clergy, that except those days were shortened, according to the words of the gospel, even the elect will be led into error, were they not specially guided amid such great confusion by the immense mercy of God. 5. Then our rule and manner of life will be violently opposed by some, and terrible trials will come upon us. Those who are found faithful will receive the crown of life, but woe to those who, trusting solely in the order, shall fall into tepidity, for they will not be able to support the temptations permitted for the proving of the elect. 6. Those who preserve in their favor and adhere to the virtue with love and zeal for the truth will suffer injuries and persecutions as rebels and schismatics. For their persecutors, urged on by the evil spirits, will say they are rendering a great service to God by destroying such pestilent men from the face of the earth. But the Lord will be the refuge of the afflicted, and will save all who trust in him. And in order to be like their head, Christ, these, the elect, will act with confidence, and by their death will purchase for themselves eternal life. Choosing to obey God rather than man, they will fear nothing. They will prefer to perish rather than consent to falsehood and perfidy. 7. Some preachers will keep silence about the truth, and others will trample it underfoot and deny it. Sanctity of life will be held in derision, even by those who outwardly profess it. For in those days Jesus Christ will send them not a true pastor, but a destroyer. This was by Francis of Assisi. I decided to look into this, read this out in light of what is happening with the current Pope Francis. Play it over and over and listen and compare to what is happening now. And also in light of Bible prophecy